Halima, of course, the UAE not immune to global trade tensions. We've seen the US slapping tariffs on this country, and that, of course, impacts supply chains, not just in region, but globally. What does that mean for Kibsons, and how are you responding to this new challenge that we're seeing in the region and around the world?
Given the fact that the UAE currency is pegged to the dollar, if the dollar experiences a weakness and currencies around the world get stronger, this has a massive impact on what we import from around the world. So Europe, Australia, suddenly the currency's tailwinds are shifting. And as businesses, it is so important for us to be well prepared and understand the implications on our P&L.
Indeed. So talk to me about the impact on the supply chain. Are you seeing any impact at all?
There's a 20% increase in the currencies this month already. So this is going to have a hit in the coming months, and we are expecting the situation to perhaps get a little worse, which means that any import that we have from Europe, Far East, is going to be more expensive. Now the question is, do we as businesses pass it on to our customers, or do we somehow use AI, innovation, other techniques to control our costs and remain competitive in a very difficult landscape here?
Indeed. So expand on that for me, because this will likely impact costs. The UAE is a net food importer. Are you having to rethink sourcing strategies or supplier relationships as a result in order to avoid passing the cost on to consumers?
Look, 50% of our business is fresh. So given the fact that we are dealing with farms here and we've got relationships over 40 years, I don't think we can suddenly make a shift and source something else. Fresh is what we do. The farms that we source from, we've got reliabilities and stabilities. Now, instead, I think it's important to consider other areas where we can save costs. So in our industry, food wastage is a big opportunity, how we manage the food waste. I think the industry target is about 7%. At Kibsons, we are looking at about 2%. And if we can bring that under further control with the use of innovation and AI, improve our demand planning, make sure that we are optimized with our supply chain internally, the last mile. As a business, we need to make sure that our consumers continue to rely on our affordable prices and stable prices. So not just run promotions around the year, but make sure we've got stable prices throughout. And that builds the brand, that builds the predictability and stability.
It's a good point. And you mentioned something also important before. It's about using AI and technology to essentially sharpen operations and attempt to better serve customers. So with cost at the center here, how are you using that technology to optimize?
So supply chain optimization, the better we forecast the demand, the less we can deal with wastages. And at the same time, how we do our pick rate in the e-commerce industry, managing our pick rate is so critical. So over the last few months, we've been working on how we can improve that. And last month, we were able to double our pick rates, which is a very complicated process. You've got to use the data, you've got to use it well. Reducing our last mile expenses, we were able to cut down 20%, which is also 20% on the fuel costs then. So if we can, as an organization, use technology, innovation, and AI to control our costs, then we don't need to pass on these extra tariffs onto our customers and therefore remain competitive in an environment where e-commerce has picked up so much and there are so many offers now available compared to 4 or 5 years ago. And given the fact that Kibsons is not in a space to do a 15-minute delivery, we are here for a stable 6-hour delivery with centralized warehousing. We are the only pure play in the industry here. So our value proposition is to make sure that our fresh food value chain is maintained. And that includes the cold chain, that includes our, how we deliver from a central warehouse all over the UAE, all the way from Fujairah to Ruwais.
Indeed. It's interesting the space you sit in as well, Halima, because as you mentioned, you're the only pure play grocery offering in the segment right now. But at the same time, we have been seeing somewhat of a shakeout in not just the grocery market, but the wider food delivery market as well. So many new upstarts, so many new players chasing too few customers, particularly in the UAE. So how are customer expectations evolving, and what does that mean for your expansion plans? I mean, what is the plan to grow from here, given the penetration you have in the UAE at the moment?
Well, fortunately for us, the e-commerce market is continuing to grow strong. So the outlook is positive. Now, within that space, we hold a big market share within the fresh produce industry, which is the fruits, vegetables, meat, and poultry. And given, although the market is strong, the question is, how do we cater to the customers? Now, what we see at Kibsons is that majority of our customers are good planners. So they're not necessarily looking for a quick basket of 6 to 10 products for a 15-minute delivery or a 1-hour delivery. I think that's the broader food market as such. Or perhaps they use the 15 to 20 minutes for fillers, urgent fillers. But in Kibsons, we are looking for basket sizes that are beyond 30. Even our express deliveries are beyond 30. And on that front, given the fact that we have cohorts very strong, our original customers who have been with us from 2017 and 18 continue to buy with us till date and give us very positive feedback. We know that our core competency is strong. We know that our value proposition is strong, and 6-hour delivery is acceptable given the fact that our prices are affordable and our quality is top notch.
Right. So in terms of next steps, the obvious question is, given the fact that Kibsons has built a strong brand now, are you preparing for an IPO? I think that's what international investors, what the local investment community wants to know. So Halima, tell us straight, what's the answer? IPO coming or not?
In the next few years, yes, because the question with an IPO is, what are we going to do with the money? So unless a business has very good and robust plans with the utilization of those funds, I think there is a little bit more for us to do and prepare before we go for IPO. But is it on the cards? Is it inevitable? I suppose yes.
Okay, so what do you need to see in the market before pulling the trigger on a listing?
I think 2025 is critical for us to stabilize as a company internally, because we are looking at some growth plans with respect to value-added meals and growing our proposition from the factory. So we are one of the only brands that is able to provide clean nuggets and sausages in the meat segment, and we are now looking at growing that value proposition further to provide ready meals, clean meals with protein and a balanced diet that the busy consumers of today's times can access and maintain health. Health is such a growing concept. So the question is, how do we use the growth and balance it with opportunities, with reasonable projects that can utilize the IPO funds and provide that return for the investors that they would be looking for?